Leon Trotsky, otherwise known as Lev Bronstein, a Jew from Ukraine. That's who he was. That's who he was. You say whatever you want. I don't care. Leon Trotsky's real name was Lev Bronstein. He was a Jew from the Ukraine. He was given millions and millions of dollars in 1917 to foment the Red Revolution in the Soviet Union. The leadership of that Soviet Bolshevik that started that whole revolution was 87% Jewish. It was. Go look it up. They write about it themselves. Okay, these are historical facts. I don't care how you feel about who. These are the actual facts of what happened.
We're just here to tell you the truth.
There you go. At any rate, the exiled communist theorist and revolutionary Leon Trotsky was attacked by a Soviet agent in Coyoacan, Mexico on August 20th, 1940, and died of his injuries the following day. Dude, wait till you hear what he killed him with.
All right.
Trotsky, one of the chief architects of the Russian Revolution, had at one time been regarded as the most likely successor to Lenin and as the leader of the USSR. After Lenin's death, however, in 1924, Trotsky was forced from power by his rival Joe Stalin, otherwise known as Uncle Joe, who apparently loved to tell a good joke, but otherwise would straight up kill you.
Oh, yeah, he was a killing fool.
He was a killing fool. Dark humor is like food. Not everybody get it.
I mean, one of the main reasons Russia got its head kicked in for the first 2 years of that war is because that dude wiped out,
purged all of his senior military commanders.
He purged all. Mm-hmm. I mean, what are you thinking?
Yeah. So Trotsky went into exile in 1928, moving from country to country and ultimately settling in Mexico in 1936. He continued to write and to criticize Stalin. Now, mind you, Trotsky was the architect of huge massacres across the entire Soviet Union, responsible for the death of millions of Russians who were starved to death in the first purges. Then Stalin would later instigate his own purges, and there would be even more deaths. The total death toll is somewhere in the range of 120 million, I think.
They don't even know the exact
number. They don't have real numbers.
I mean, I've seen numbers as high as 650 million. I've seen as low as 100 million.
Yes.
But you got to understand.
Nothing lower than 100 million.
In rural Russia, they didn't really keep track of people.
You're just out there.
You're just doing your thing.
That's true. Still true to this day.
Yeah.
In May 1940, Trotsky survived an assassination attempt when men with machine guns fired into his home. 3 months later, he was assassinated by Ramon Mercador, a Spanish communist and suspected agent of Stalin. The Soviet Union denied responsibility for Trotsky's death. KGB cleanup on aisle 7.
Yeah, that's exactly
KGB cleanup on aisle 7.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I happen to know how Trotsky was killed. Mercador was there and grabbed an ice pick and ice-picked Trotsky to death.
That's hard to... Puncture wounds are incredibly hard to stitch up.
Not like a big industrial ice pick, like the one you chip off ice cubes for your drink. One of the ones that's like this big.
You only have to be able...
died a painful fucking death.
But you only need to stab into the human body 3 to 4 inches.
No, I know that, but that little tiny pointy thing, know he was probably alive for many of the pokey stabby bits.
Yes. It's not good.
And I can't really think of anybody who really deserved a death.
Well, karma's a bitch.
Like the karma is a bitch. This is full circle. We had 8 or 9 people taken out in the vicinity or sphere of the banking establishment, and then the guy who used the banking establishment to start the Russian Revolution was ice-picked to death in Mexico by a Spaniard.
Who definitely was working for the KGB. That doesn't just happen by accident.
No.
Because guess what?
Yeah.
Spain fought a huge civil war.
Yes.
And I believe it was the communists.
Yes, the communists who won.
They won and then later collapsed. But
yes.
Because communism doesn't work.
Against Franco.
Yeah.
Who was a nationalist.
Yeah.
Which is another fascinating topic.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that.
We're not getting into that right now.
No.
We're not getting into that right now. But I love to see that Trotsky ended up getting his own after causing some serious weapons-grade misery. The guy was a horrible, evil, nasty little person.
And here's another thing. If you think that shit can't happen here in the United States, you're out of your fucking mind.
It just fucking happened.
No, we have a whole generation that has been brought up to be communists.
Oh yeah, yes.
All right. And if we take a few wrong steps,
Yeah.
we're going to suffer the same fate. And anyone out there is like, oh, Pop doesn't know what he's talking about. Listen, we're all evil, hairless monkeys. We love to kill each other, dominate each other.
Yep.
And it's just human nature. They're going to do it again.
Look, I've mentioned many times that I was part of the debriefing program on teams that were interviewing North Korean defectors and things like that. I still have nightmares about things that were told to me sitting at a table in a lit room with a cup of coffee in my hand. Okay, that kind of horror.
Yeah.
All right. You don't want anything to do with communism, and anybody who's trying to bring any of that stuff anywhere near you deserves a rope and a tree.
Not in that order.
Not necessarily in that order. Can be done in that order.
I got you.
At any rate, I won't even play around with the idea of the Bolshevik type of communism, which is what's coming. That's what the WEF is. But tonight's show, I wanted to put some historical spin on it. Pop came up with the idea for going through the assassinations.
Because there's so many parallels.
There are so many parallels, and there are so many coincidental moments that go through it all. It's important not to see things in a bubble.
Well, if you...
Things have touching points.
But here's the sad part. We have so many young people out there who are never taught proper history.
No.
They weren't taught civics.
Nope.
They don't know any of this shit. And they think, communism would be great because everyone gets a piece of the pie, blah, blah. And they don't look backwards and see how much of a raging clusterfuck the whole thing was.
Communism was a handful of ultra wealthy and all the people who starved to death.
Correct.
That's communism. Okay.
And listen, socialism is the same.
Yes. Well, socialism is the gateway to communism.
Yeah.
Marx said that.
It's the waiting lobby.
Yes.
But even capitalism, you get people at the top who think they know everything, i.e. the guy who...
so we have to do a show on this too.
Microsoft.
Capitalism is the word that Karl Marx invented.
Well, we have Mr. Gates.
Yeah.
Right? He's really at the top of the pinnacle, making decisions, spending all kinds of money to influence the masses, and not in a good way.
Yes. And he is completely isolated from it himself. He has no idea what the consequences of his actions are. And he really needs consequences.
So it doesn't matter what government structure you're using. You're always going to wind up with a small bunch of people at the top who fuck everyone's lives up.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.